Hello, guys. Coming to you again from after the episode. You're going to hear it before the episode. Ooh, the magic of editing. Throwing myself back into time. Um, so the first half of this episode, not usable, unfortunately. So we had to cut that out. But so I just want to, on the top end, say I'm sorry about that. It's going to be a short one this week, but we'll make it up to you. We'll give you like a long one or something like that in the future. But I just wanted to explain to you guys why this episode's going to pick up pretty much smack in the middle of the actual recording. Don't get confused. That's what's going on. But you won't really actually miss much. That's why it's unusable. But the bulk of the episode is on the back end, so you will enjoy this one, I believe. Decide that for yourselves. But I love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.
Welcome to Work Hard. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Jason.
Now this is podcasting.
So when I was a paramedic, we were taking someone on a non-emergent interfacility discharge. So taking him out of the hospital and going home. This guy had, I don't remember if it was a new amputation, but he had one leg that was at least partially amputated. And so we were rolling him down on the gurney. I was making small talk with him and asking him, okay, so you're feeling better? How you doing? We're going back to rehab. We're going back home. He goes, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I said, okay, awesome. Good enough to run a marathon? And he goes, well, I have an amputated leg. I was like, okay, so like a half marathon then? And he did laugh.
Good.
Thankfully.
Good.
It was either he laughed or I got fired.
Yeah, that was a high risk maneuver, dude. That's pretty good.
It paid off that time.
Good.
I've had other high risk maneuvers where later I was like, I wish I had not performed that maneuver.
Yeah, there's a meme of a bird, and it's like a well painted, like a very pretty image of like a bird, and the caption is, "I took a calculated risk, but man, am I bad at math."
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
No, I've had times where I've pushed the envelope,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
having way too much fun.
Yeah.
Surely I can go one step further.
Yeah. Now it's not fun.
And then,
anymore. Yeah.
and just feel terrible and
Yeah.
don't make a joke again for 6 months.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to Between the Couch Cushions.
Let's do it. Let's transition to a real episode of Work Hard. Oh, all right. Between the Couch Cushions. That is for the new listeners. That's our,
It's a segment where you find, when you're searching the couch and you find things that you thought you had lost.
you're looking for your keys or something.
Yeah.
You pick up the couch cushion and
You go, oh,
look at this DVD that we found that we dropped a long time ago, and it's right there.
this was a good one.
Yeah, this
I
was
can't
good.
believe we forgot about this.
Yeah, I can't believe we forgot about it. And that's the point. It's forgotten media, video games, books, that kind of stuff. Stuff that's really good, but it's like kind of old, and so people don't see it often.
Yeah.
Mine is I'm kind of almost apprehensive to make this recommendation because of how much nudity is in this movie. But there are really, I guess there's really only two scenes I can think of that are like actual real nudity. I think there's only two.
Well, there are streaming services that offer filters.
Oh, okay, cool, great, excellent. Well, that's awesome.
Andy Wilson is always talking about those on Stories Are Soul Food.
Oh,
He's
okay.
always referencing, there's at least two that offer filters, and you can like adjustable filters for what you want to filter out as far as language nudity and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, so you could watch all those movies.
Okay. Do we know what they're called?
Not off the top of my head.
Rip. Sorry, you guys have to look it up yourselves.
Or go and listen to Stories Are Soul Food, and eventually he'll mention them.
Yep. Sounds like some company is about to get $15 a month from me though.
There you go. Go look it up. Shouldn't be that hard to find.
Yeah, that's got to be easy. So my rec is Kings of New York, which is really good. Main character is Christopher Walken when he was young.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's an old movie, and it's about a drug dealer who gets out of prison. He's like a drug kingpin, and it's Christopher Walken. Really amazing movie. Lots of like really close cropped shots of the actors' faces. So it's like, it'll be like they're having a conversation at a table, but the entire conversation's filmed just from Christopher Walken's face. Like the camera's right up against his face.
So just watching his expression only.
Right.
No background distraction.
Nothing else. Yeah. It's just him talking.
And you hear the other person, but you never see them.
Right.
Or rarely.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's like,
that's a style.
Yeah, man. It's really clean. Really clean. Really good. And I looked it up just to kind of see what people were saying about it, because I always like to see like if people are smart enough to catch that it's good. And there are a lot of dingbats out there who think the plot isn't like cohesive. Okay. But the thing is that you're not spoon fed what happens. So it's just like, it's obvious, like every scene that progresses, you're like, okay, obviously in order to get here, this would have had to have happened. And so it's just like,
oh, okay.
You have to do that a little bit.
You're not showing everything.
But it's just that the directors and the writers have faith in you that you'll be able to figure it out.
They're treating you like an adult and giving you steak instead of milk.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's really, really good. And there's lots of really cool action scenes, and it's a very good movie, and it ends well. Like it ends properly.
Okay. Which is not to say necessarily happily, but
yeah, I mean, if it's a
like it's in a, okay.
There's justice. there's a little bit of justice. There's a little bit of like a sense of progress. Like things changed. Like the world has changed from the beginning to the end of this movie. There's changes. Irreversible things have occurred. Loss, gain, sadness, happiness, justice, injustice. Like these things have all occurred, and it's now ended. And the final scene is really good, and so it's just, I won't ruin it, but it's very good. Kings of New York, really good, well shot, well written, great cinematography, and it's all that, it's all on film, so it's that old film look, and it's New York, whole thing, like pretty much the entire movie's at night, just really good, very just pleasant to just look at. Easy to watch. There's no point in the movie where you feel like picking your phone up. It's good. Really good movie.
That's the gold standard.
Yes, it is.
If you don't pick your phone up during the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did their job.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Cool. Kings of New York. All right. My recommendation is The Princess Bride, but it is not the movie. And that is not to say I don't love the movie, because I do.
Right.
But finally, after a lifetime of enjoying the movie, I also finally both realized and bought the book, and then probably 6 to 12 months later finally started reading it.
Yeah.
And while I have not actually finished the book, I'm probably 2/3 of the way through, I can say it is one of the funniest and most unique writing styles I've ever read.
Yeah.
So the author is William Goldman, but just here's a taste of his humor. The title will say The Princess Bride, S. Morgenstern's classic tale of true love and high adventure. And then down at the bottom it says William Goldman, da-da-da-da. He makes it out as if he's not the writer. He makes it out as if his whole story is that he was read The Princess Bride as a kid.
Yes.
When he was sick in bed, just like the movie shows the kid being sick in bed.
Yeah.
That's how he heard the story from his dad. And then when he finally looked it up to give his kid, then he read the book and goes, oh my goodness, there's entire swaths of this book that are like really boring European like narrative about the times and about royalty and about society.
It's like reading Tolstoy or something.
I don't know, but his whole point was like all that stuff for the American modern reader was really boring, and so he just edited all that out. And he also has his own notes in the book about what he had edited out at certain points.
Yeah.
That's all in the text.
Yeah.
But the whole time he's just talking about Morgenstern and how Morgenstern had this part in here for this, and these Florin historians hate him, Goldman. It's a whole bit that goes through the entire book.
That's awesome.
And it starts with he has massive forewords. It took me an hour to read through like 3 different forewords because he has the 25th anniversary edition and the 30th where he adds to this thing and just stacks on top of this enormous lie that he bought this book. It was out of print. And so basically he wanted to bring it back.
Right.
And then also modify it by just cutting out, like he didn't add anything to it. This is Morgenstern's tale.
Yeah.
He talks about like his battles with the estate of Morgenstern, like getting this printed and and he had me believing either this shows how gullible I am potentially or how good Goldman was and dedicated to this, because the way he talks about his wife who's fictional in the forwards and his son who's fat and fictional like how he's a bad father basically and his wife is not a good wife, and yet the level of detail and humor that he puts into these things, it's so funny.
That's awesome.
But he had me like half believing. I had to look it up. I was like, was there a small was there a small country like a province called Florin that just doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah.
He talks about a museum that Andre the Giant visited to do research on Fezzik, the real Fezzik, who was actually larger than Andre the Giant, and there's casts in the museum of of Fezzik's hands, showing how big he was, and like the 6-fingered sword and all that is in the, it's
That's
ridiculous.
Awesome. That's
the
awesome.
level of detail I was taken into the point where I had to Google it, and I was embarrassed to find out that I was like, okay, this all makes a lot more sense, but the level of like commitment to this joke that he had, I was like, surely.
That's sick.
It's a whole bit.
One bit, it's like this guy's entire life. Yeah, totally. His entire life's been dedicated to one joke. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's really pretty good.
So anyway, The Princess Bride, the book, you will not be disappointed.
Nice.
Pick it up.
Good.
It's also a good-looking book. It looks like The Princess Bride should, which is like about this big. You know, it's like a...
Oh, yeah.
It's like a foot-tall book, and it's thick, and like it has some filigree on the front and whatnot.
Ah, yes. Nice.
Probably all, like, not really high-end stuff, but enough to make it have the appearance of a fairy tale book. True Love and High Adventure. Anyway.
Shout out to, what's his name?
William Goldman.
William Goldman.
He did die, I don't know when he died. He's not alive anymore. It wasn't a terribly distant past that he passed away.
Well, R.I.P.
Funny man.
R.I.P. R.I.P., bro.
All right.
There it is. We are...
So I think that's it. We're ready to transition now.
Transitioning...
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The main topic!
All right, we're back officially, for real this time. Hello, everyone. Dude, I'm like, I should have eaten.
You didn't eat?
I didn't eat.
Well, you had lunch, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. I had lunch, and I had a huge lunch, and so I thought I was going to be fine. But now I'm not. But it's all right. We're almost done, so no reason to stop it now. So today, here's the topic. Here's the thing I pitched to Jason, which was, the time to do something is never going to be perfect. You should just do it. If it's something that you feel compelled to do, like it's the right thing, it should be done, you should do it. And this was kind of kicked off because there was a real big debate online where this older guy started, harping on these younger guys about how, the economy actually isn't bad and there actually isn't no jobs. You're just not willing to go get the jobs that suck. Like I did. I went and I worked my way up, whatever. And somebody dug up like a post of him like buying a truck for $900.
Right.
And he was like,
back when in the 90s?
Yeah. Well, nobody even dug up the post. I think he posted, he was like, here's what I did when I was young. I bought a truck with no AC.
Yeah.
For $900, and I drove it around. I did what I had to do, and everyone was like, "You think you could buy a truck with no AC for $900 right now? What are you talking about? You can't go to the scrapyard and get a scrapped out truck that won't turn on for $900. The metal is worth more than that now.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?" So, anyways, he was just going hard, and he was hiding, but he was doing like a Mott and Bailey argument where he was like hiding behind this idea that he's trying to empower young people and give them hope, and then he would retreat into, or he would go out of the I don't remember which one's the Mott, which one's the Bailey, but he'd go out and he'd go, you guys are all gay, you don't know how to work, you're not willing to do what needs to be done, you won't go get a job as like a delivery guy at UPS. And then and buy a house that's, you know, in a maybe not a great house, but it's a, you know, it's a starter home, whatever you want. You're not willing to start from the bottom like us. And then as soon as people were like, dude, this is not we're not taught, like we are saying that the bottom is lower than your bottom was. That's what we're saying. And then he'd go back and be like, well, I don't know why you guys are getting so mad at me. I'm just trying to empower you. You know? And so the thing that I said, they got a little bit of attention online, and that I feel like is true, is that he's doing this thing where he's doing this bit where he's like, I'm trying to empower you. But what really is happening is he's saying nothing. It's not that things suck. Things actually don't suck. You suck. That's what he's saying. Things don't suck. You suck, which is not, even if you are trying to empower people, that's probably like the worst possible thing to say to like a person in general that you're trying to like encourage, is telling them that they suck or that they're bad. That's a really great way to make sure everyone you're talking to feels hopeless and retarded and like they can't get anything done. And so my counter message is that things do suck. They do suck objectively. We can look at the numbers. Things do suck right now.
We have talked a bit about them.
We've talked a bit about them. You've heard them on Maximum Alert. You've heard me talk about them here.
Especially I think we were talking about this before the show, the early episodes, maybe back in the 20s, the 20s episodes.
Yeah.
When Ethan and I first started recording together.
Yeah, we did hammer this. Yeah, we did hammer this a lot.
We were talking about the situation that Zoomers have been dealt.
Yeah, the hand that you guys got dealt. Well, I guess I don't know. I don't know if I'm a Zoomer or a millennial. I can't.
You said you're a millennial.
Every website says something different. Every website says it's the cutoff is 95, it's 96, whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, the hand young people got dealt was not a good hand, and it's not the same hand at all that the previous generations have been dealt, and that's just fundamental. You can't argue with that because that's a fundamental aspect of the financial system today. It's designed to borrow from the future, to use today, to consume today, and we are now in the future from what was the present when this all kicked off 50 years ago or 100 years ago. But it really started in earnest 50 years ago. And so you can't make the claim in good faith or making it reasonably that things don't suck today. There's more opportunity. You're just not willing to look. First of all, jobs, you can't go. I tried once in college to be a UPS delivery driver because that is actually a good job. That's cool. It's a great job. And that's another people are like clowning on it, being like, dude, we would love to be a UPS driver. Like nobody thinks that's a bad job. You can't be a UPS driver. Go try.
You have to spend time in the warehouse.
You have to spend like 5 years in the warehouse on a waiting list
for driving.
Right, before you can get, and you're like on a waiting list for the application. And because those jobs are great, they don't ever open up. Dudes just hold that job forever.
You gotta wait till someone retires.
Yes. We have me another brewski. And so it's just like this concept that it's like, it's actually not bad. That's, first of all, that's stupid and not true. Secondly, whatever, you guys get what I'm trying to say on the front end of this. So here's what I'm saying. Here's my point. Human history is rife with people, societies, cultures who had to deal with hard stuff, who were not in optimal situations, who were in bad situations, and I think that it's fair to say that that's actually the standard operating procedure for most groups, is that things were not great when they were alive. You know,
maybe in different ways.
Yeah, in different ways. You know, there's a legitimate.
So it would be easy then for one generation who is now at retirement stage and looks back and sees a couple generations past and goes, what are you guys all doing?
Right.
Why don't you just do what I did? Not understanding that the situation he was dealt
Was
may
the
have been-
exception. It was the exception.
or was, well, we're talking about over the course
Oh,
of
yeah,
history,
right.
that their situation was difficult in one way. He found the out, whatever it was then.
Well, I think what everybody is saying, what I'm saying is that like if you were 20, if your career started,
Okay.
if you were in your 20s, any time before 9/11, you have a very distinct advantage over anybody whose career started afterwards.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
So you're
that's
saying they were the exception rather than the rule when
Right.
it came to how difficult it was to make a living?
right in general,
Okay.
because they were those people were the inheritors of the most materially prosperous nation on the planet in all of history that has been in decline since that time. And so, of course, they can say, "Yeah, I did what I had to do." Well, of course, you did what you had to do, because when you did what you had to do, you got massively rewarded. The incentives were better. There's a very famous Charlie Munger quote that I love, which is show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. There's a reason why kids don't want to work that hard today, because they get paid less than half of what you got paid when you were 24. Why would they're going to work less than half as hard? They're not incentivized to actually work that hard. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Here's the caveat to this. In a state of decline, when you're at the Brazilification of everything, when you are at the tail, and first of all, the Roman Empire, the like decline of the Roman Empire was like 400 years, and there was like several golden ages in that. I don't even know if you can call it a decline. Like that's what historians
Where it
refer
was
to.
not as
Yeah, it was not
robust.
yeah, and it did slide down slowly for over 400 years until it ultimately ceased to exist. Which I don't think happens in the West, because I think the West is fundamentally Christian, and so it has a birth and rebirth aspect to it. I don't think the West will stop existing. But we are at the fourth turning. We are at a state of decay. We are in a state of decline. We are on
the state of chaos.
the
isn't
state
it?
of chaos. Yeah, we're at a level of high entropy. We are what Sam Hyde has referred to as the eve of our destruction. We are there. But here's the thing. What that means is that people with low agency are going to have a hard time succeeding. In times of great abundance, people who have low agency will succeed because there's great abundance. It's not hard to do it.
Right.
Just
by
existing.
going out and about and doing anything.
Right,
you'll
by
be
doing
okay.
anything, by like just if you just move your hands, you'll make enough money to make a living. You know, that's not the case here. And so what is really important now, what is highly important is, and this kind of sucks because it's an oxymoron, but what really matters actually here is individual effort, because society can't take care of you at large. So you have to go out and get it yourself. You have to figure out some way to get it done. And you can't sit around and wait for the same situation that the boomers had to start your business or go try to start your career or whatever. Like you can't to start a family or anything like that. You have to just accept the fact that you are going to you are going to make less money, and things are going to be harder for you than they were for your parents or your parents' parents or whatever. That is true, but it's not an excuse to lose. It's not an excuse to lose. First of all, reality removed from God is not conscious. It doesn't care. It doesn't care, like the odds of you winning or losing. They don't care if it's not, if the situation isn't ideal. It's not understanding. It doesn't have any empathy or sympathy for you. It doesn't care. And so you're going to get washed out if you sit around and do nothing. And so to a certain extent, what that guy is saying is kind of true. He's speaking from a really bad place because he lived in a time where he could be a low agency individual. No one will know. No one will ever know, because he lived in a time when you could be dumb as hell and lazy and still have a pretty good career. 2 cars, nice house, vacation every year with a big family.
Yeah.
That was easy for him. Not easy for us now, but because it's not easy, that means you should work harder than him. and you should ignore him. Who cares what some dumb old boomer thinks?
If you're occupying your time getting bent out of shape and arguing with these people online, whether they are right or wrong, you're not benefiting yourself. You're not moving the ball forward by being online and doing that too much.
Yeah.
Please limit your time online, and remember that you are what you eat. You are what you absorb. And so the more of that angst and frustration and negativity that you willingly take on, the more anxious you're going to be.
Yeah. And I've said this a million times, but I'll say it again, which is, you are a little observer, and that is what you can do, is pay attention to things. And so where you choose to put your attention is where your energy is going to go. And so if all of your time and energy is put into worrying about how the situation is, or shaking your fist at the sky, complaining that inflation has robbed you of your ability to generate wealth, then you aren't going to generate any wealth. I think it's, I can hear the kickback from what I'm about to say, but
email him at Ethan@hyperpremium.co.
Yeah, please.
Or me, I have my own email now, Jason@hyperpremium.co.
Or don't email either of us, please.
If you're a faithful listener, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
If you want to sell us marketing, please don't email us.
Yes. I wanted to be a journalist. Okay, I wanted to speak truth to power. I wanted to write good articles and tell them how it is and see all the cool stuff and go to the places where no one else wants to go and say what nobody else was willing to say.
Get airdropped into Cuba.
Yeah, I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to be Tim Pool. I'm going to be cool and edgy and be on Vice and tell people how it really is.
Roam the streets with the microphone.
Yeah. I didn't get that. All right. That's not how it played out. Okay. But I consciously sacrificed that dream so that I could have things that I knew were important, like a family that was provided for, and the resources to make things happen to further God's kingdom. And so I left that and got a sales job in a corporate office, and it was awful. Okay, my first 2 jobs were terrible, and I hated it. I would go sit in the bathroom and cry. I've said that before. And they were brutal, but I didn't quit. I never quit. And now I've got a cush position, and it's kind of come full circle, because here I am talking into a microphone, and that's largely facilitated by the fact that I have a work from home job where I make a ton of money, and I can afford to buy these microphones and, alleviate some of Jason's financial needs so that he can come work on this for us. And we can build something.
Yeah.
And,
there is nothing like building something.
Yeah, man.
Men are built to build and create and conquer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so doing anything, any kind of building is fantastically, building family, obviously being the core part of that. But anything you do to sustain that family, building anything, I think is kind of fundamental to a man's core desires.
Yeah.
And programming.
Yeah. So the question is, here's the question at the end of the day, man. Is it like, what are you willing to sacrifice on the altar of being right? What are you willing to sacrifice on that altar? Dude, yeah, oh yeah, I get it. You're right. You're so smart. You're right. Things do suck. There's too many immigrants, whatever. You're right. But are you going to sacrifice your life, your potential kinetic energy that you could summon throughout the sum total of your life to do things and build a family and build a home and build a career and build a business or build whatever? You're going to sacrifice that on the altar of wanting to be right about how much boomers suck? Just let it go. It does suck. I'm not saying it doesn't suck. Okay. I'm not saying that things aren't bad. I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy a house right now. I'm not saying that. Okay. I am saying that everything does suck, but what I'm saying is that because it sucks, it's go time. And you cannot wait around for things to be perfect. You know, we talk about this a lot in the context of kids. You should not wait until you're like in the right time. It's just not the time yet. I want to make sure our debt's paid off. I want to get in a good financial position. I want to get a little bit further in my career. I want to make sure whatever. Like, dude, just have a kid.
Yeah,
just have a kid.
Do you know what a geriatric mother is?
Yes, a 33-year-old mom.
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah,
and there's lots of them.
Yeah, bro.
This is, by the way, that's not at all a slight to someone who has children after 33.
No, it's just
kudos to you, but it's tragic that so many wait because of societal pressure, because of feminism lying to them.
Yeah.
And because of men who are not ready to lead.
Yeah.
And give them the babies.
Yeah.
For crying out loud, give your wife the babies.
Yeah, it's what she wants. Even if she's telling you that's not what she wants because she's mind fried from watching Sex in the City or whatever, that is what she wants. So give it to her. Once she has it, she'll be very grateful.
I saw some sort of homesteader trad kind of wife thing on X.
Yeah.
And it was...
You're going to get nuked by that stuff, dude. That stuff's coming for you immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of them was... basically, it was a little clip post of a video of various homemaker things. And it's like... It says, every woman wants this. The only thing... Pride is the only thing telling you that you don't. Something like to that effect.
Yeah.
Is that the pride of feminism and the lie that you can have both the full man career,
yeah,
and the full childbirthing, child rearing, child education, home building thing at the same time. You're not two people, ladies.
You're not.
You don't see. That's like the man saying, if there was such a thing as maleism, it would be that. Can you imagine how retarded it would be? How stupid everyone would immediately think. We should call this episode maleism.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Not really, but anyway. Can you imagine how ridiculous it would be if a man came out and said, I want to be a full-time caregiver at home and have a full-time executive career in the tech world?
Yeah.
You can't do both and be any good at either.
Yeah, dude.
You can be a good father and have a full-time job, and you've got to be.
Yeah.
And the mother can be a full-time home giver and maybe have a side business when her children aren't tiny.
Right.
It's like the career kind of comes afterwards.
Yeah.
That's what I like. The Douglas Wilson clan, their women are incredibly productive as business women after the child rearing days are over.
Yeah.
The kids are grown up and they're all like, they're writing books, they're educators, they're, whatever. They've got home businesses up the wazoo. It's the Proverbs 31 woman. Like she's taking care of her household. She's a wise woman.
Right.
She's diligent. She's getting up early. She's sacrificing herself in all kinds of ways. But it's not the family comes first.
Yeah.
That's the primary thing for women. Just like providing is the primary thing for the man.
Yeah.
But not at the expense of his family time.
Right.
You gotta have balance.
Hit a nerve
brother.
for Jason there. Hit a little bit of a nerve.
I gotta have one every once in a while.
That's true. You do need to have a tangent.
I do have
every once
some
in a while.
nerves.
I can't be the only one going on schizophrenic rants. Yes. So listen, guys, it's just we'll wrap this up, but it's a go time. Okay, it is not complain time. It is not feel sorry for yourself time. It is not. It is go out there and figure out. You are gonna have to make $100,000 to match the same income as somebody making $50,000 20 or 30 years ago. All right, I know that sucks, but it's the way that it is. And you can either complain about it or accept it and do everything you can to go get that money. And I will say, I know, especially amongst this group of listeners, that the concept of going and getting money is a little, you're distrustful of it. But I will tell you that money keeps the wolves at bay. Money is energy. It is power. It is influence. It is the representation of, like, money at its core. What it is the representation of, like, kinetic energy. It's why it's so important.
It's representing your labor.
Yeah, it's representing your labor. And if you can get a hold of a good amount of it, you will be in a better place to help people, to provide for your family. You will be in a better place.
Support your church, missions, spread the gospel.
Exactly. Yeah, you can give greatly to your church. You can. People do have a incorrect habit of just glorifying and believing people that have money. It buys influence, and you can use that influence for the greater good. You don't. It doesn't have to be this evil thing. So go get your dollars up, go get your money up, and then take care. Use that money to take care of the people around you, to take care of your community, to build it up into a strong, resilient thing that doesn't require outside resources, that can stand the coming storm. At least build a family that can stand the coming storm. And that doesn't mean you necessarily have to go get a homestead or whatever. But if you can get enough money and put it in the right place, then you can come out the other end of this thing ahead of everyone, and then turn around and use that wealth to help people who have fallen behind catch back up. I'm
not talking about hoarding it.
Right. Yeah, you got to use it.
Don't be a dragon.
Yeah,
Just sit on it.
Right. Money needs to be a river. It needs to flow in and out. So it just
make a lot of money so you can be extra generous.
Yeah, exactly.
And another key thing, I remember who told me this recently. It may have been my wife, but talking about a key metric. If you're not generous now with what you have,
yeah,
those people statistically will not be generous when they do have more.
Yeah.
So it's important while you're poor now to be generous with what you do have.
Yeah.
And not mindlessly. I'm not talking about just going and giving 10% of your paycheck to the homeless guy on the street who's going to go buy drugs and alcohol with it.
Right.
Do something that will provide, be wise with your money.
Right. It'll be actually valuable to the people around you.
Help people, but don't throw your money away.
Right. Yeah. So, guys, that's really the point. I'm actually kind of glad that we spent so much time telling stories at the front end of this, because I'm actually out of stuff to say. So this is perfect. Great.
Okay.
All right, guys. We love you very
that was
much.
Cool. We said that exactly at the same time.
Fantastic.
I bet we couldn't do that again if we tried. We'd be like 1, 2, 3. I love you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we love you.
We do. We are praying for you. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. It's really cool seeing our number go up. We're doing like 500 views a month now.
Yeah, almost to 500 in the last 30 days. It's ramping up.
Yep.
So
very humbling. We really do appreciate all that attention, guys.
Very weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. Look out, Hyper Premium is going to be moving this year, so hopefully we're going to get some good stuff in the pipe. Death with Deity, Maximum Alert.
Give a listen to our other podcasts if you haven't already, and go to the homepage of Hyper Premium where it prompts you to sign up for the emails. If you don't actually get the emails, please go and sign up for those, because we are not spamming you with emails, at least yet. We'll try not to. I don't want to spam you with emails.
We will eventually go to the point where we're not emailing every single time we post a podcast, because we're going to be posting like 6 or 7 a week. So,
okay.
Yeah.
For now, though, you get emails only when a new podcast episode drops, so you don't have to keep on checking back.
Yeah. And we've got another Hyper Premium Presents in the works. I think you guys are going to like that. I'll start teasing that out as soon as I get the interview booked and actually put down. But the interviewee and I are talking. We're figuring out how we want to address the topic. So look out for another one of those Hyper Premium Presents. I actually really have a good time making those. So, guys, again, we love you. We're praying for you. Please find a woman. Please have some children. Please go to church. Please do not resign to despair. Understand that you cannot wait for times to be perfect to get things done. You must just do them. You must play the cards out of the hand you got dealt. And yes, you got dealt a bad hand, but that is not an excuse to lay down and die. You have to work harder, and that sucks.
No folding here.
No folding. Just put one foot in front of the other. Do not give in. Just do not give in.
Never give up. Never surrender.
All right, guys. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.